What's up, friends and family? So for the first time today, the Fees Must Fall protests made their way to the engineering faculty, and I was faced with the reality of this situation, and I want to have a conversation with you about it because I believe that you and I are more than likely in the same boat, in the sense that we don't have a title like Dean or Student Representative Council that would give us authority to speak into the situation. That would be like a podium. We can have a speech or do a speech that would change the outcome of this political situation. We don't necessarily have that, but what we do have is our opinion, and we have a choice to make on how we're going to engage and how we're going to treat the situation. So I want to share my opinion, my story with you from today, and I want to encourage you just to consider it. So the people that came to the faculty, alarms went off, people were evacuated. So we were encouraged to go outside, and if you know me, I love engaging. So I ran upstairs to where these people were at, and I was, as most of you would have been, shaping my opinion, trying to scope out what's going on. Should I be running away? Should I be engaging? What am I going to do? And they moved outside, I moved outside, and it just so happened that two of the leaders of this particular protest were isolated. So I had the opportunity to go and speak to them. And I was like, am I not gonna go engage? I mustered up the courage to go speak to them, and they were quite closed off to me, which is totally understandable because there's a lot of animosity and anger projected at them generally. But very kindly, I approached this conversation. We ended up having a conversation about the heart behind Fees Must Fall, because I don't trust opinions that are bouncing around on WhatsApp groups, and I don't trust little like Facebook status updates opinions, that kind of thing. I wanted to hear firsthand what they believe the heart behind it is, and what I realized was these are human beings standing in front of me. We can't forget that. It's not just a movement. We can't just be mad at the movements and just sort of demonize, as the word that this woman used, these human beings. They are human beings. And as we were having this conversation, the woman that was spearheading this part of the protest came outside, and I got to speak to her as well, the leader of this whole group. And as we were having this conversation, I was having a conversation with this human in front of me. I realized that some of them are hungry and some of them are thirsty. And let's be real, like, we're not even going to discuss this. If a human being is thirsty, you give that human being something to drink. So I short of to Pick and Pay, say goodbye, and like got some Cokes and polystyrene cups, and it doesn't even really matter. But I went back to the engineering faculty. They were gone, but the security guards were there, faced with the situation as well. Like, yes, this is a perfect situation for me to go bless them and be kind to them as well. Not because it's a thing of like, oh, these people, like, it's us against them, it's there against us, and the security guards are on our side, so I'm going to be kind to the security guards. It's not that. I want to be kind to them because I'm grateful for what they're doing, but they're human beings. They deserve to be loved, and they're also thirsty. They've been at it the whole day. So the one guy even took off 2 pairs of gloves to shake my hand, skin on skin. You could see they were grateful for this. There was that human to human sort of interaction, and I shot off to the Wilcox building. And again, neither you or I can walk into the Wilcox and influence the situation that way, or fight or retaliate or make a speech or whatever. It's not going to work. But I saw my friend outside, and I call her my friend because we had another conversation on this whole thing, the heart behind it, the situations she grew up in, why they see the world they do, the way they do. I gave them the Cokes and whatever, they were grateful. But there was that human-on-human interaction. This was a human being in front of me, and you don't have to take my word for it. I want to read to you a quote by Nelson Mandela. His voice carries weight. So Nelson Mandela said, "Courageous people do not fear forgiving for the sake of peace." Why do I read that to you? We have a choice. A lot of people are getting angry. I'm going to take pepper spray to my lectures. I'm going to like retaliate and fight, and I'm going to hit this person. Wah, 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 wah. You can go down that route. You can call that courage or bravery, whatever. I'm siding with Nelson Mandela and saying that it takes real courage to be able to forgive. I know the situation is crazy, but it takes real courage to be kind in crazy situations like these. Maybe your papers were torn up, maybe your table was flipped over. That doesn't disregard the fact that this is a human being standing in front of you, and you going down the path of retaliation or just retracting from the situation. That's not going to help. Let's just be honest. So I'm going to leave you with that. It takes real courage to see the human being in front of you and engage that way. It takes real courage to be able to trust that you being kind and loving the person in front of you is going to, in actual fact, impact the situation. It takes real courage to leave your baggage behind and engage with that human being in a kind and loving way. Thank you, family.